Okay, so here you are at the end of the semester. You have a report to write or a document or something that's going to have a title page and a table of contents. And sometimes those things are sort of a pain in the neck to create if you don't know the way to make it easy. So the goal is to write a great report where the formatting comes out easy and the formatting comes out correct and you get the right points. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at making our title page first, a table of contents, and some sections to our document. So if I choose normal text and I say title, I can write my title here, and I'm just going to say this is my, for example, in my class we're doing a game design document, so I might want to come up with a title for my game. So let's say the title of my game is Zorn Battle, Catch and Avoid. And that's kind of a long title, but it'll work. So one thing that we want to have with our title, I always choose title, is we do want that to be centered. So we're going to change the centering, and then we're going to say, okay, I've just changed that style, so I'll need to now change the format. So I'm going to choose, let's see, select all, update title match. So update title match means that every time I use that format, it's going to center it now. So let's add, hit enter. And if I hit enter, it automatically goes, anytime I use a heading or a title, the next line it's going to create when I hit enter is going to be normal text. So the next one I want to use is a subtitle or a byline. So I'm going to go back into this styling menu and we'll say subtitle. And so my subtitle now, let's center it, is going to be by Mike Judge. He's kind of famous. And then at the bottom of the page we're going to put our date, time. So on the right hand side, we're going to right justified and put say multimedia is the class, the semester, fall 2019. Unless it's 2022 and you've already seen this and it's later and you're just watching this awesome video that went viral or something. I don't know. So there's that. And maybe we'll put the date on here. The due date of this thing is like 12/17/2019. So there's this. Now if I zoom out on this, Control minus, all right, it looks like this. And I really want that page to be centered. Something like this. Let's back that up. Oops. Like this. And drop this down a bit more. Now that looks pretty good. So let's zoom back up and I click on this to change my zoom. Let's go back to open 100%. Oops. Didn't really mean to go full screen. That's F11 that. Okay. So we're back to full size. Now to go to the next page I'm going to push Control Enter. And I'm going to go back to left justified. I'm going to use normal text, which is up here. And now I'm going to add my table of contents. This is really easy. So we're going to say insert, and down at the bottom of my list is table of contents, right at the bottom of your screen. And there's two choices, with page numbers or with links. I would kind of like to use both, but for us page numbers is fine. I don't know, links. Let's try page numbers. So now there's nothing in here. It says add headings, format paragraph styles, and they'll appear in your table of contents. So let's just put the word table of contents up here. And let's make that line be heading 2. And then we go here and we update it and it says, hey, look, there's your table of contents. Now we don't really want the table of contents in the table of contents. So instead, let's just take that and change it back to normal text. Let's make it slightly bigger and maybe bold it up. So now your table of contents has no contents in it. It's all right. It's all right. Let's go to the next page. So Control Enter. And now we're going to start making our document. Now here's where, if you have an assignment that has required sections, we can make quick work of some of this. So maybe we say have an introduction section. So go back here and we say introduction, but let's choose a style. So we can use heading 1 and say introduction to Zorn Battle. I don't know where I came up with that name. It's kind of silly, admittedly. And I hit enter. When I hit enter, notice right now it's heading 1. And as soon as I hit enter, now it's back to normal text. So so I've actually got some text ready to go. This is what's called lorem ipsum text, and I just got it from somewhere else. Now if I just paste it in here, it looks pretty horrible, right? I just got that from somewhere else. So if I use Control Shift V, it pastes it using the target normal text style. So if you want to make that 12, you could, no bigger than, and then say update normal text to match. So every time I use that text format, it's going to have that style to it. So now let's go back up here to my table of contents and I say review. Now it's got that in the table of contents. And if I change the page numbers or something, or if something moves around, it'll still work. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my next heading. So let's say we want to talk about the platform. So rather than choosing all this to the title, we're going to write about that. So copy this. We're going to go back to the document and we're going to use heading 1 and paste. Oops. And some pasting from my assignment document in Canvas or from wherever you're getting your assignment from. It could be in Google Classroom, could be a variety of places. So here's the platform, and we're going to talk about this platform here in this paragraph. So there's my next paragraph. So what's the next piece I'm going to do? The next piece I'm going to say heading 1, back to here, and the next section is gameplay description. So here's this, and I copy, I go back to here, and I paste the gameplay description in there. Probably would like to make that look right, because we don't want to have lowercase letters in the first letter of words in our headings. There is an add-on you can use. If you go to add-ons and you get add-ons, the one you want to try to find is change case. So if I change this to title case, sure, it would have taken me just a second to do that myself, but you know, always finding add-ons to get the job done easier. So now we've got another paragraph here, and for your, of course, paragraph, you don't want to use lorem ipsum, but this is just for the purpose of writing this this little tutorial. So if I go back up here again, I click on my table of contents and I refresh or update, it now has that stuff in it. Now it will make smaller sections. So if I have gameplay description and then I have a subtitle to this, which is going to be heading 2, and I'm going to say player movement. I can type. I got this. Movement. Now, when I go back to my table of contents, it's going to have a section for that piece. So player movement, and let's have another heading 2, and enemy movement, and there's my paragraph about that. So maybe I've got a section of gameplay description that includes subsections to describe different parts of how the game works. So gameplay description, I might have something about sound effects in there. So let's bounce down to here. Heading 2. So what this is about initially is organizing your project, organizing your paper, and getting the stuff out of the way that has to do with formatting. Now, your teacher, whatever class you're in, might want you to be using a different font. So by the way, if I go back up here and refresh my table of contents, it adds my table of contents. And the trick is, just to remind you, these are headings. This is a heading. This is heading 1 or heading 2. This is normal text for paragraphs. Now, if you realize that your teacher wants you to use all, let's say they want them to use just Times New Roman, which is pretty common. So if we change this to what it should look like, we say we change this to Times New Roman, make it 12 point, and then we say right click and update normal text to match. That's changing the style. So every place that we use that style is now changed to Times New Roman. Okay. And by the way, it also changed our headings, which is kind of convenient because we want our font to match. We don't want to have Arial for the headings and Times New Roman for the paragraphs. We want them to use the same font. So it was conveniently changed the fonts of the whole master plan to make it work properly. Now you've seen that we have an easy table of contents. Okay, now somehow it generated an extra blank page down here. So it's because it shifted this down when it changed the font size. So you always want to double check before you complete your document that your pages are all have stuff on them. Like you don't want to have the table of contents by itself and then the content by itself, and that should be an easy way for you to create your document. Let me know if you have questions. Peace.